Hey guys, it's me, Holly Madison. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a fun little makeup tutorial. This is my Pamela Anderson look. Like everybody else, I started watching the Pam and Tommy series on Hulu. I have very mixed feelings about this series. I know Pamela's been vocal about the fact that she was not included on this series and she didn't want the story told. And I know, not that I'm comparing myself to Pam because I haven't experienced even the tiniest bit of the type of fame she had, but I know it can be very frustrating and heartbreaking when other people try to tell your story and it's not you telling the story. They can think they're being sympathetic, they can think they know what's going on in your head, but they never really know. I also feel bad for Tommy because I don't think he looks good in this either, so I'm not here to endorse it, but what I do think is phenomenal to look at is just Lily James's transformation and her portrayal of Pam in the series. And one of the things that I do think is good about this series is that it seems to be drawing a lot of conversation toward how Pam was treated when her tape was stolen and put out, because you know, back then, nobody really felt sorry for her or took her feelings into consideration at all. They just thought, you know, sorry, you've posed nude before, so this is all out and we don't feel bad for you. And of course, there's so many levels to consent. And just because somebody has chosen to pose nude at some point in their life doesn't mean they deserve to have a private tape stolen and shown to the entire world. And I do think Lily's portrayal is humanizing Pamela. And I don't know how she feels about that. Like, Pamela might be off in France or wherever she is doing what she's doing. Like, I don't even care what people think of me. I just don't want this story told. And I respect that. But I do think the makeup and the prosthetics and all the transformation on Lily James turning her into Pamela Anderson is so interesting. So I wanted to try and do a little Pamela look on myself just for fun. And I will share with you guys the products that I used. As always, I will put it down in the description. And hopefully we can have fun with this look if you want to do like a little Pam for Halloween this year, or just a random cosplay, or just want to look cute for your content. Let's get into it. Let's get into the look. All right, here I am. Lounge flies behind me. Got my Wander Beauty baggage claim. I think it's called baggage claim or extra baggage something. Under eye patches. I'm still waking up. So starting this tutorial off with no makeup, I just have a sunscreen moisturizer on, these eye things. And it reminds me of a recent hater comment I got. And I should have like saved this comment for like a responding to haters video or something because it was so funny. But this lady commented on my YouTube page recently. She was like, ugh, I'm unsubscribing because does anyone notice how Holly's face always has to be beat? Which clearly she's never seen my makeup tutorials because I start so many of them off with no makeup, just looking rough. Anyway, she goes on to say how she's unsubscribing because my face is always beat, and how she really loves the Kardashians because, according to her, they wear no makeup on camera and they're aging on camera, and they let us see them aging. And like, look, I love the Kardashians. In fact, I don't understand people who hate the Kardashians. Like, I get it if it's not your thing, like not everything's everybody's thing, but living in the age of like curated algorithms, it's remarkably easy to shut something in pop culture out if you want to. So calm down. Like, I think your hate is really about jealousy or something else. Personally, I love the Kardashians. I like watching them. I find them very expansive, but I don't think they're aging. Like, I don't know what they're doing, but they're not aging. So anyway, this hater was like, I love the Kardashians because they're aging and they're like always on camera with no makeup. And like, I've seen some in more recent seasons, like at home, no makeup looks on the Kardashians. So that's fine. But overall, I think that comment was kind of whack. So anyway, not trying to prove anything being here without makeup. I've done a lot of makeup tutorials like this, but here I am. Anyway, so the first thing we're going to start off with in this 90s Pam Anderson tutorial is something you can find in your kids' craft drawer. Yes, Elmer glue sticks. The reason we're doing that is because Pamela, one of her most distinctive features is she has the tiniest little eyebrows you will ever see. Am I a fan of tiny eyebrows? No, because I think it ages people. I think it makes people look older the smaller their eyebrows are. And we all know I'm so afraid of looking older because I'm not, aging on TV with no makeup like the Kardashians. I love it, you guys. But anyway, so I'm putting this glue stick on my brows and I'm like pinching my brows together. My brows are already kind of on the thin side. So, I mean, they are on the thin side. Like, I do not have a Cara Delevingne brow. We know this. Lily James, who plays Pamela Anderson in the new Pam and Tommy miniseries, has full brows. But what she used to become Pam is they put an actual prosthetic forehead on her. It went from here to up here because one, they wanted to make her forehead bigger to look like Pam's and then like wig over it. But also they covered her eyebrow with a prosthetic and like drew another eyebrow on. We're not going to be doing that here today. We're just using a glue stick, several layers to just like keep these brows from being, you know, their fluffy selves. My brows are never fluffy, but I try and make them look that way. So we're doing that. We're going to put a few more layers on. And you might be wondering, Holly, if I'm sticking glue on my face, that's not really going to look very good. Like my skin around the area isn't going to look very good. It's going to look kind of ratchet. Well, I'm going to show you what we're going to do to camouflage that. We're going to rely on a Pam Anderson bang to kind of like make the brows a little less noticeable, you know, so it's just not like up in people's face, a crusty brow. We're going to try and make it as not crusty as possible, but that's what we're doing. So just so you guys know, I'm filming this in the morning. I have a Zoom meeting coming up and there's no way I'm going to finish this whole makeup tutorial before the Zoom. So I'm kind of curious like what part of this transformation I'm going to have to pause at, because I might get on the Zoom, and it's a pitch Zoom, by the way. So these are people I do not know, and I might be looking crazy and they might be like, oh, I'm glad we're talking about doing something that's audio based because you look a little weird. So I forgot to put on my pore primer. Should have done that earlier just to give it a little chance to sit. I'm going to put the pore primer where I have visible pores and texture, which is the middle of my forehead, in between my brows and nostril area. Take off the eye mask, let that air out. We're going to cover the pores on the cheeks. Pores are like the death trap of foundation, just like holes in your face. It's like the oubliette of your face, if you will. If you don't know what an oubliette is, it's like a medieval like trap door in a castle that like leads down to a dungeon or creepy place of solitary confinement. So for my Pam Anderson foundation, we're gonna go a little darker than usual because I want to get that on the beach all day tan look. I wish I would have my spray tan today, but I'm not planning on getting my spray tan for 2 more days. That was one of the things that watching the Pam and Tommy show, I was like, this just makes me want to go out and get the loudest spray tan possible. So I'm looking through my foundation drawer, just like what's the darkest foundation I have. I found this Beauty Bakerie Insta Bake in 339N. Let's see what this looks like, shall we? Oh yeah, this is good. This has like a, I don't feel like I'm good at describing colors that well, but I feel like it has almost like a hint of terracotta to it. Just like kind of lends itself to that tan Pamela look. Gotta do the neck. I'm planning on wearing a tank top today, so I'm probably gonna have to do my chest too. Because like I said, I don't have that spray tan yet. But for now, we'll just do the neck. Whoa, look at the difference. Can you see it? I'm just going to speed this up here so you guys don't have to sit through it, but you know, it's just me and my beauty blender dabbing on this foundation. I like how this foundation feels going on. It's very like silky on my face. I'm going to go right over these old brows. Oh, those brows are going to be tragic. I feel like what I see in the monitor when I'm filming isn't really what I end up seeing on the playback. But right now, I look crazy in the monitor. I look like that girl from the James Bond film Goldfinger who like paints herself gold. That's what it reminds me of. Alien. I'm just gonna dab a little bit of foundation on the under eyes, even though I usually only like to do concealer because they're just crazy. To set this mess, we are gonna use a Laura Mercier setting powder. And I have oily skin, so it's gonna be as much setting powder as I can throw on there. Oh, I got my half-hour alert for my Zoom. Let's see how much makeup I can get done. Now it's time for under eye concealer, my most important makeup item in my life. Take the tiny beauty blender for the corners. You'll notice that I'm using my usual under eye concealer. I didn't go a shade darker to match the darker foundation because this is a 90s look, and kind of like that screaming white under eye concealer was a little bit of a 90s thing. So I feel good about it. I'm taking a fluffy brush and going back to my Laura Mercier setting powder for under eyes. I think the Laura Mercier is like the best under eye setting powder I've used so far. It doesn't crinkle up when you smile that much. Now I am wearing eyelash extensions. We are going to get into a strip lash on top of it because that's a very Pamela look, but I'm gonna start the whole process that we'll circle back to later with some mascara just to get like the little wispy lashes in the corner. For blush, we are using Stila Cream Blush in Petunia because this is one of the shades they used on the Pam and Tommy show. I don't usually use cream blush, so this will be interesting. Comes in a cute little compact. For Pam, I'm doing the apples of the cheek and like a high cheekbone thing. We're gonna contour later. I always tend to do blush higher than one might normally just because that kind of takes away from your under eye area. Okay, I stepped away for a minute. I'm back with my tank top, makeup on my chest. And I'm trying to think, I only have like 15 minutes till I have to step away and do this Zoom. So I'm thinking like, what's gonna make me the most presentable? And for some reason, I just wanna contour my nose. I'm using the e.l.f. Cream Contour Palette, and I'm using the second to lightest shade. Pamela had a very little button nose, so I'm gonna try my best to carve that out. Her nose is very, very rounded on the end. I'll create a little shadow here that I'm gonna blend. Really carve in, bridge. I'm gonna shade. Okay, then I'm gonna take my MAC 188 stippling brush and just blend. So I'm going to draw a brow on, and I don't know if drawing her brow on is going to make me look more or less normal than what I've got going on here, but we're going to give it a whirl. And I'm just going to take a straight up brow pencil and just draw it on because she really had those pencil thin brows. I'm going to start low, go as round as I can. Oh my gosh, it's hard to draw over the glue. Maybe I will be using my WetnWild brow powder as I usually do. You dip your brush in a little bit of water, dip it in, and draw away. Ah! I'm looking like a bug. Okay, that pops for sure from a distance. Looks really crazy up close. I think the last thing I'm going to do before I go downstairs is just do some brow bone shadow. I'm using the basic L'Oreal Nude palette. I'm going to blend these two lightest shades. One of them is shimmery, so we get a little bit of shimmer and just bring up that brow bone. And yes, I am putting the shadow over my natural brow. All right, I'm gonna go do this Zoom and I will be back with the last half of the look. Okay, I'm back from my Zoom. I don't think I freaked anybody out too much with my eyebrows. Here we are, and we're gonna get into the rest of the eye makeup. So when I was thinking about doing a Pamela Anderson look, of course I thought of Alexis Vogel, who was her makeup artist, and she did almost all the makeup for Playboy in the 90s. And I actually learned to do my makeup from Alexis Vogel because in the early 2000s, she sold a kit that you could order through the mail, and it was a kit of all the makeup required for her look and a DVD that would teach you how to do the makeup. And one thing I remember about Alexis's look that was really distinctive is she used something called a chubby pencil for eyeliner. And a chubby pencil, it was something she would manufacture, she would sell back in the day. The closest thing I could find now is this NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil. And I'm going to use blue because Pamela had blue eyes. I'm not going to be popping in any blue contacts today. But sometimes if you use a little bit of blue around your eye, it kind of gives that effect. And I'm going to do, not the waterline, but I'm going to line under my eye with the chubby pencil. So there we have the chubby pencil liner. Another step in the Alexis Vogel process is to take a thin brush. I'm using my standard, what I use for my brows, WetnWild angled liner brush. And I'm going to use a very, very dark blue, almost black sparkly shadow. This is the Dior Color Design palette in Midnight Rush. I'm going to wet the brush and just kind of paint the shadow over the chubby pencil. And there we go. There's the bottom liner. I'm going to take my mascara and do the lower lashes very carefully, of course, as we've already done concealer. Always kind of rub my finger over it after I'm done so the excess doesn't stick to the concealer under my eye. So I'm looking at my reference photos of Pamela's makeup, and it looks like what she has in the crease is almost like a pinkish, purplish, a little bit orangey, shimmery. I can't even figure it out. So for the orangey, peachy color, I'm using Bellini Blush by Wander. I'm gonna put that in my crease. You guys, my hay fever is so bad right now. I'm just like red eyes, sneezing like crazy. It's February. It feels like too early to be hay fever season, but here we are. I swear when I'm looking at my reference pictures, I'm seeing some purple up in here. So I'm going to take this Dior palette. I'll link it if I can find it, and put the light purple shade, put a little bit in the crease too. Like the lower part of the crease. I don't want to cover the orange. That needs to stick out. I really like this nose contour. This is going to sound weird because it reminds me of Miss Piggy. And when I was a kid, I was in love with Miss Piggy. Like I went through a whole Miss Piggy phase, and this is kind of giving me like a little roundy piggy nose, and I might adopt this contour for everyday life, just so you know. So Pamela was very much known for her smoky eyeshadow, and I'm always a little bit nervous to go in with a black eyeshadow. I like to start out with like a gray, and then if I need to pile more on, then I pile the black on top of that. So at least with the gray, I have like a little something to follow with the black, and I'm not just like making a charcoal mess on my eyes. So I'm using this gray color Fang from the Ravenclaw Ulta palette, but you can use any gray. Okay, so I want an angled shadow brush. This is medium angled shadow E70 by Sigma Beauty. And we also need a blotting paper to get that angle. In the Alexis Vogel makeup, she gave you like this triangular felt piece that you're supposed to like put on your eye like this, and it's supposed to go like 1/8 of an inch under your lower lash line and up toward your hairline. But I like to use just a blotting paper. It's easy. So I don't know about you, but like my cheekbone bumps up. I don't know about you, but my cheekbone like raises. This is not a flat surface, so I really have to like hold it on. Then I'm gonna take the gray and just create that Pamela wing. I'm even gonna go under a little bit. That's why you do it like 1/8 of an inch below. And blend out onto the lid, but not all the way in. Carry this out until it reaches a sharp point. Whoa, that's dark. Okay, I might not be going over that with black. We're gonna take a blending brush. We're gonna put another blotting paper underneath to keep that concealer area clean. We're gonna go over this like crazy just to make it lighter and blendier. I don't like changing up my usual makeup look. Like when I do anything slightly different, I'm like, oh my God, it's a lot. That's why I'm not really a makeup tutorial queen, is because I don't really like to stray from what I do. And sometimes when I think I'm doing this radically different look, it really just like looks the same as what I usually do. But we're gonna lean into this smoky eye. Now sometimes you might find that your wings don't match, so you're gonna have to do this and then go in with concealer later. Just keep working that fluffy brush until it blends out to where you're comfortable with it. Yeah, I don't think I need to go in with black shadow. I think this is dark enough for me. So for eyeliner on an Alexis Vogel eye, she would use like the cream eyeliner with a brush. I currently cannot find any cream eyeliner, so I'm just gonna use my Wet n Wild angled liner brush with some water, and I'm going to use this sparkly black shadow in one of the Dior palettes, but you can use any sparkly black shadow that you find anywhere. So you're just gonna paint a line next to your lash line, nothing fancy, and kind of bring it out to a little bit of a wing. You don't really need a big wing. You can kind of like blend it out into the shadow that is already a wing. So now to finish out the eye look, we've got to throw on the Demi Wispies. This is a very 90s, 2000s eyelash look. I've always wore these lashes in the 2000s and still do now sometimes. We're just going to pile them on top of the lash extensions I already have to get that 90s look. These are the faux mink version of Demi Wispies, and they didn't have faux mink version back in the 2000s, but I think they're a little bit nicer looking than just the regular demi wispies. So I'm going to cut the edges off as I usually do just to make it fit my eye better. This is an individual choice. I always use the black eyelash glue so it blends right into my liner. I mean, the white eyelash glue dries clear, but I like to use the black. It just adds a little extra. So you can see the difference here, just how much more this adds to the look. Really finishes it off. So I'm going to do a little bit of cheek contour, and my cheeks kind of like dent in like this, and I feel like for hers kind of is a little more like that. I'm going to try it out. Try it out, see what it looks like. This is a Morphe M572 brush. We're just going to create a higher cheek with like apples. I look like I have like a Captain Hook mustache. But we'll blend this in and see if it's effective. Blending it with my MAC 188 stippling brush. And also to kind of lift my whole cheekbone thing, we gotta fill this in. We gotta create like a lighter illusion down here to kind of get rid of like my natural cheekbone look. Blend, 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 blend. So lips, what are we gonna do with the lips? We're gonna do a lot with the lips. If you look at Pamela's upper lip, she has a very full upper lip. It kind of flips out a little bit. And I know it's a natural lip because if you look back at Pamela's like old, if you Google like Pamela Anderson yearbook photos, she's always had that lip. And also like these days you would get a lip like this through like a surgical or a Botox lip flip. But back then they weren't really doing that. And when people got lip injections back in the 2000s, let alone the 90s, the lip injections didn't look good. And just, I don't know if it was the filler that was being used or the technique or what, but now you can get lip injections and it looks normal and natural. And like if somebody hadn't seen you before, they could be fooled. But back then lip injections always looked like this. Always. So I know Pam didn't have lip injections. But we're going to have to mess with my lip a little bit. Oh, you know what else? I could use bronzer because this girl was out in the sun all day. So I'm going to use this Wander Costa Ray bronzer and just get all the places you feel like the sun would hit. Blend, blend, blend. Can you imagine if I decided this was my makeup routine every day and I'm just spending like 2 hours doing my makeup every morning? So I brought out a relic here, guys. I brought out the Alexis Vogel Lip Defining Pencil in Smooch. But you can see it's almost identical, very close to MAC Spice. And MAC Spice was the liner they used for Lily James on Pam and Tommy. So I'm gonna overdraw my lips, make them look bigger, especially my top lip, because when you look at pictures of Pamela Anderson smiling, she has almost no space between her nose and her lip. Ordinarily, when I draw my lower lip on, I like to make it a lot lower in the center and then kind of go up. But Pamela's lip was a little more even across the way, so we're gonna do it like that. Now for the top lip, when you look at how Pamela's lip is drawn on, you almost don't see a cupid bow. It's almost completely rounded. I have a pretty defined cupid's bow, so to make it look like I don't have one, I almost have to draw like a bubble. So for lipstick, I'm going to use Bobbi Brown in Beige number 2 because that's one of the colors they used on Lily James and Pam and Tommy. Very sexy nude. And I'm not gonna put a lot of effort into like blending the lip color with the lip liner because in the 90s, people didn't really care if like their lip liner and their lipstick weren't blended. So for Pamela hair, this is the era of like the big 90s barrel curl. So we're gonna plug in our curling iron and get to work. Don't forget your heat protectant spray. Gotta protect that bleached hair. I'm gonna take this little clip-on bang that I've had forever, kind of brush through it, heat treat it a little bit so it's just not so weird and stiff looking. I'm gonna pop it on my head. The thing about this bang, I haven't tried this bang in so long, and it definitely needs a good purple shampoo as far as like matching the rest of my hair. So I'm going in with my e.l.f. contour palette. I'm using this light cream color to kind of go in and fill out any spots in my face that I feel like need filling out. Hit it with the Beauty Blender that is still covered with some of the foundation I used on purpose because that helps blend it better. Then go back with the MAC 188 stippling brush. So I'm really happy with this look. I would go out like this for a Halloween look or something, I think it would be fun. I did dress up as Pamela Anderson for Halloween once a long time ago, like 10 years ago. I had like the Baywatch suit made and I had my hair blown out all big. I don't think I did really anything that special with the makeup though. I think I was just me in a red bathing suit, but I liked it. I wish I was still that, sorry, I've been looking, I know it's so annoying. You guys hate it when I look at the monitor and not at you guys, but I'm just really trying to like finish up this look. Anyway, I was saying, I wish I was confident enough to literally run around Las Vegas in a Baywatch bathing suit. I'm not that confident anymore. Okay, yeah, I like this look. I love it.